From the sizzle on the top to the vision of defined. This is kitchen to C-suite. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to From Kitchen to C-Suite, the podcast dedicated to analyzing the strategic alignment between back-of-house culinary innovation and front-of-office executive leadership. I am your host, Don. If you have recently evaluated the menu architecture of a premium culinary establishment, you have likely observed a pronounced contraction in portion architecture. This phenomenon is distinct from standard shrinkflation. Rather, it represents a deliberate, highly sophisticated evolution in sensory engineering and fiscal optimization. Today, we conduct a comprehensive analysis at the critical intersection of food science and macroeconomics, the ascendancy of microdose gastronomy, and advanced volumetric reductions. Historically, the value proposition of luxury dining was tethered to material abundance. In the contemporary market, however, value is increasingly defined by molecular concentration. Culinary professionals are currently leveraging principles of advanced thermodynamic physics to compress intricate flavor profiles into hyper-concentrated, single-bite formats and intense volumetric reductions. This methodology essentially functions as modern culinary alchemy, engineering maximum sensory engagement while minimizing physical mass. However, as a core tenet of this program dictates, operational developments executed on the plate invariably dictate the trajectory of the corporate balance sheet. For executive leadership, this paradigm shift offers a profound masterclass in operational efficiency and margin optimization. Amidst unprecedented supply chain volatility, structural labor shortages, and evolving consumer demographics, microdose gastronomy is fundamentally rewriting the operational playbook of the hospitality sector. This structural evolution yields several distinct corporate advantages. Mitigation of organic waste. Minimizing raw material mass inherently curtails yield loss and food waste, directly improving prime cost variances. Inventory storage optimization. Hyper-concentrated ingredients require significantly smaller cubic storage footprints, reducing cold chain overhead and real estate allocation for holding inventory. Re-engineering of kitchen labor. Shifting production toward high-precision, prep-heavy master batches allows operations to maximize labor productivity during off-peak hours, flattening the service period labor curve. Premiumization of the guest experience. Delivering highly sophisticated, texturally unique offerings justifies elevated average unit volumes and superior gross margins on a reduced physical footprint. To rigorously assess the commercial viability of this culinary paradigm shift, executive leadership must evaluate three critical operational pillars: scalability and consistency. The evolution of modern gastronomy demands a profound structural reimagining of the traditional restaurant enterprise, shifting the organizational footprint from a decentralized collection of artisanal kitchens to a highly integrated network of precision culinary laboratories. The primary operational hurdle lies in the industrialization of avant-garde gastronomy, specifically, establishing how decentralized restaurant groups can execute microscopic precision uniformly across global markets. The core strategic challenge rests on transforming a single droplet of hyper-reduced, labor-intensive culinary essence into a standardized, highly profitable, and seamlessly replicable global business model. Infrastructure design. Achieving this level of operational fidelity requires a fundamental overhaul of legacy infrastructure design. Traditional heavy thermal equipment, such as conventional ranges and charbroilers, must increasingly be decommissioned and replaced by high-throughput laboratory instrumentation, including rotary evaporators, industrial centrifuges, and ultrasonic homogenizers. This architectural shift necessitates that future commercial kitchens be redesigned to accommodate advanced workflows, specialized utility routing, and strict environmental climate control, effectively mirroring the rigorous compliance standards of pharmaceutical facilities rather than classic hearths. Supply chain logistics. Concurrently, upstream procurement and supply chain logistics must undergo an equally radical adaptation. When an enterprise transitions its purchasing paradigm from high-volume raw agricultural commodities to low-volume hyper-processed specialty inputs, traditional cold chain frameworks become obsolete. Procurement strategies must be recalibrated to manage fragile, high-value, and scientifically altered ingredients. This transition demands ultra-precise temperature management, specialized handling protocols, and an entirely restructured framework for assessing vendor risk and inventory velocity. Please join me as we analyze how these highly concentrated culinary innovations are driving substantial macroeconomic shifts across the global hospitality landscape. Let us begin today's session. The commencement of the summer dining season marks a profound behavioral and structural shift within the global food and beverage sector. Contending with a volatile macroeconomic environment and the rapid mainstreaming of clinical wellness paradigms, hospitality operators are comprehensively re-engineering menu architectures. The definitive mandate of the current market is equilibrium, catering to an increasingly fragmented consumer demographic by synthesizing premium luxury with low-risk comfort, and pairing an overarching cultural ethos of moderation with highly sophisticated, multisensory Epicurean experiences. Below is an analytical breakdown of the macro trends currently dictating food and beverage operations. The restaurant sector is currently navigating a distinct bifurcated economy. To maintain fiscal viability and protect operating margins, operators must simultaneously satisfy affluent luxury patrons and value-conscious consumers. This dual imperative has precipitated a significant evolution in both portion architecture and ingredient utilization. To counteract persistent inflationary pressures and a documented contraction in traditional casual dining volume, premium establishments are strategically integrating accessible, comfort-oriented items into their culinary repertoires. Fine dining tasting menus are no longer exclusively avant-garde. It is now common for an expertly executed smash-style cheeseburger or artisanal fried chicken to share menu real estate with premium sturgeon caviar and shaved truffles. This deliberate cross-pollination of high and low culinary traditions lowers the barrier to entry for economically cautious diners, without diluting the establishment's upscale brand equity or premium positioning. The most significant shift in contemporary menu design originates from developments in metabolic pharmaceuticals. With a notable proportion of the domestic adult demographic now utilizing GLP-1 receptor agonists for weight management, consumer demand is shifting decisively away from large-format entrees and multi-course meals. In response, commercial kitchens are introducing downsized, nutrient-dense culinary selections heavily informed by the structural format of Spanish tapas and Japanese izakaya dining. Consumers are increasingly prioritizing organoleptic density, seeking maximum flavor profile complexity within a compressed volume, thereby favoring small, meticulously composed plates that mitigate satiety anxiety and prevent oversaturation. As consumers increasingly reject ultra-processed foods, UPFs, in favor of metabolic and gastrointestinal health, gut microbiome optimization has emerged as a central culinary focus. The definitive operational term of the season is fibermaxing, a movement characterized by the explicit menu promotion of whole foods, ancient grains, pulses, and legumes. Chefs are deploying advanced culinary techniques to optimize dietary fiber, leveraging ingredients such as marine algae, chana dal, and rare heirloom root vegetables to introduce natural viscosity, structural integrity, and intrinsic nutritional value to dishes without relying on synthetic stabilizers. The beverage and nightlife sector is undergoing a parallel transformation. Establishments are pivoting toward high-concept mixology, inclusive liquid programming, and architectural spaces engineered to stimulate comprehensive sensory faculties rather than mere gustatory perception. Moderation has transitioned from a wellness subculture into a defining pillar of commercial nightlife. Patronage is shifting toward downsized formats, colloquially termed tiny pours. These manifest as 2-ounce premium wine flights, or half-ounce to 1-ounce variations of classic craft cocktails. This operational strategy empowers patrons to sample ultra-premium, high-variance distillates at an accessible price point while maintaining strict personal moderation. Concurrently, the practice of alternating consumption, frequently referred to in the industry as zebra striping, has become institutionalized. Rather than consuming alcohol or water exclusively, contemporary consumers systematically alternate between foolproof spirit expressions and sophisticated, zero-proof botanicals throughout the duration of an evening. The hospitality and beverage industry is undergoing a sophisticated evolution, driven by a new wave of consumer expectations that blend mindful consumption with high-concept experiences. At the forefront of this shift is the rise of volumetric reductions, an operational trend where venues offer 2 ounces, viticultural flights, and half-scale cocktail formats. By scaling down the physical pour, bars provide patrons with accessible exposure to ultra-premium distillates while significantly lowering price friction, allowing guests to sample top-tier spirits without the financial commitment of a full-sized premium drink. Hand in hand with smaller portions is the practice of alternating consumption, which defines a systematic alternation between ethanol and zero-proof expressions throughout a single evening. The value proposition here is entirely lifestyle-driven. It allows consumers to enjoy sustained cognitive clarity, maintain seamless social inclusion, and actively mitigate overconsumption without having to leave the party early. On the flavor front, menus are pivoting away from sugary profiles toward gastronomic mixology. This trend sees bartenders leveraging savory spirit infusions that incorporate complex ingredients like miso, shiso, and various lipid structures, such as fat washing. The result is a lineup of deeply complex, non-saccharine flavor profiles, tailored specifically to mature palates seeking culinary depth in a glass. Beyond the liquid itself, the physical environment has been weaponized through dopamine architecture. Venues are increasingly designed around maximalist, high chroma, and visually stimulating interiors. This deliberate aesthetic choices directly fuel the business side of nightlife, driving increased organic digital impressions and massive social media amplification from guests eager to share their surroundings. Finally, the micro details of the beverage are being engineered via functional ice systems. No longer just a cooling agent, ice has become a science, utilizing custom-stamped, hollow, or botanically infused slow-melt geometries. This operational focus gives bartenders precise control over dilution and allows for an evolving drink chemistry over time, ensuring the final sip is just as complex as the first. The operational boundary dividing the kitchen from the bar program has effectively dissolved. Sweet and saccharine cocktail profiles are increasingly secondary to complex, savory, and botanical flavor matrices. Mixologists are engineering beverage programs around advanced culinary processes, including fermented infusions, utilizing white and red miso paste alongside fresh shiso leaves to introduce complex salinity and herbaceous top notes. Lipid washing, utilizing high-grade extra virgin olive oils, cultured brown butter, or duck fat to alter the texture, viscosity, and mouthfeel of baseline spirits. Rotary evaporation, employing laboratory-grade vacuum distillation behind the bar to isolate and capture volatile aroma compounds, allowing for perfectly clear spirits infused with the essence of everything from seafood ceviche to roasted lapsang souchong teas. HRB Universal's CEO Brad Peters' perspective. The structural division between culinary operations and liquid mixology is now obsolete. We formulate cocktails utilizing the exact foundational principles as a plated dish, methodically balancing organic acidity, lipid density, and umami architecture. The physical footprint of the modern beverage establishment is bifurcating into two distinct architectural movements. The first is characterized by high chroma design, vibrant, maximalist environments utilizing neon installations, mid-century retro textures, and bold geometric patterns explicitly engineered for digital amplification and social media indexability. Conversely, there is a significant proliferation of dedicated audio lounges, or listening bars. These intimate acoustically insulated venues are designed around high-fidelity, analog vinyl playback systems. Within these spaces, verbal conversation is secondary to auditory immersion, and the curated acoustic environment is afforded the same meticulous quality control as the primary beverage menu. Ice is no longer viewed merely as a thermal cooling agent. It has become a critical vehicle for brand expression and flavor evolution. Premium lounges are employing specialized ice geometries, such as hollow crystalline spheres, designed to encapsulate specific aromatic components that release gradually as the shell dissolves. Custom stamping brand iconography onto hand-carved clear ice blocks has become standard practice within high-volume luxury settings. Concurrently, forward-thinking venues are infusing frozen structures with seasonal botanical extractions, tisanes, and clarified fruit juices. As thermal degradation occurs, the melting ice continuously alters the chemical equilibrium of the cocktail, transforming the flavor profile from the initial sip to the conclusion of the beverage experience. In summation, today's discourse illuminates a critical reality. Microdose gastronomy and volumetric reductions extend far beyond transient aesthetic novelties. We are witnessing a profound structural realignment of the hospitality ecosystem, a nexus where culinary artistry and rigorous fiscal disciplines seamlessly converge. For decades, legacy enterprise models incorrectly correlated premium value with sheer physical volume. However, in an economic landscape defined by constrained supply chains, escalating capital expenditures in real estate, and a macroeconomic pivot toward hyper-curated, wellness-centric consumer behavior, these legacy strategies are no longer commercially viable. By compressing portion architecture while exponentially intensifying flavor profiles, technical execution, and experiential value, operators achieve a dual strategic victory: the minimization of organic waste and the maximization of intellectual property. This transformation repositions the dining space as a high-margin engine of operational efficiency, demonstrating that in the modern enterprise, sustainability is not a concession, it is a distinct competitive advantage. Ultimately, future market leadership will belong exclusively to those executives and culinary visionaries who recognize that enterprise value is no longer quantified by the scale of the asset delivered, but by the profound depth of its strategic impact. Our takeaways are: strategic asset management. Transitioning to a microdose gastronomy paradigm marks a critical shift from volume-based scaling to high-margin, precision asset management. By embracing this methodology, establishments optimize their cost of goods sold while simultaneously sustaining or elevating premium pricing power. Logistical optimization. The implementation of volumetric reductions facilitates the comprehensive optimization of supply chain dynamics and physical infrastructure footprints. This refinement mitigates waste and streamlines inventory logistics, driving unprecedented back-of-house efficiency. Value proposition re-engineering, experience-first design, repositions the culinary offering as an intellectual, curated event rather than a mere commodity. The executive implication is a powerful enhancement of brand equity, which organically increases average check size and captures a highly discerning, high-net-worth demographic. Strategic directive. In the contemporary hospitality landscape, commercial resilience belongs exclusively to the precise. To successfully scale a brand within a volatile market, organizational strategy must systematically favor precision over volume. Thank you for joining us for this edition of From Kitchen to C-Suite. If today's analysis has reframed your perspective on scalability and value creation, we invite you to subscribe to the program, leave a formal review, and distribute this episode to colleagues committed to organizational evolution. Until our next broadcast, continue to innovate within the kitchen and execute from the C-Suite. This is Don, signing off. This broadcast is made possible through the corporate stewardship and capital commitment of our sponsors. We extend our formal gratitude to HRB Universal for their steadfast commitment to providing comprehensive resources and fostering professional excellence across the global culinary and hospitality sectors. We additionally recognize the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program. This foundational initiative exemplifies a dedication to shared equity and collaborative growth within the food and beverage industry, empowering forward-thinking entrepreneurs to construct a prosperous, institutional-grade future. The trajectory to elite executive leadership demands continuous innovation, rigorous dedication, and a sophisticated professional network. We invite you to leverage the executive resources and support networks provided by our corporate partners. For detailed corporate profiles regarding HRB Universal and the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program, please visit hrbuni.com. We anticipate your presence for our next edition of From Kitchen to C-Suite, where we will continue to analyze the critical insights shaping contemporary leadership and macroeconomic entrepreneurial success. From Kitchen to C-Suite is accessible across premium digital networks for your convenience. Audio streaming. Subscribe and stream via Riverside at fromkitchentocsuite.riverside.com or directly through hrbuni.com. The program is also distributed globally on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, and Deezer. Video broadcast. Elevate your media consumption by streaming the full video broadcast via Roku or Amazon Fire TV. Locate the HRB TV network to stream high-definition content directly to your media center. Until our next broadcast, continue to pursue operational innovation and maintain an unyielding commitment to organizational excellence.